Hello. A little exhausted here. But as you can probably tell, this is part of a stream that we're currently doing. Or a stream that I was in the middle of. But I thought it would be a good idea to just record something for today's YouTube video. I don't really have anything planned for today because Bug Fables has been finished. So, I thought it'd be okay to do a little bit of an analog horror series. Because you guys seem to really like the angel hair one. I thought it'd be cool to bring it back. But with a new series called Pontiac Robotics. Don't know much about this company. Just jumped in immediately after looking up some analog horror series to go watch, and thought it'd be a good call to just think about what robotics can kind of conceptualize the type of horror. So earlier I was looking at this, and when I was looking at the vibes and a lot of the faces the characters made, it brought me back to this. This. If you don't know what this is basically a giant doll that just says one thing. That is like a frozen image of it. It's supposed to actually move. Yeah, it's very creepy, and I do admit this is like a very creepy thing. But I don't know much about this, so I can't give my opinion on this. And I don't think it's part of an analog horror series because I think it's like 14 years old. Like this specific video, not this video itself, but like the series this came from. Just a guy that makes realistic looking animatronics. But yeah, this entire vibe of this gave me vibes of that. So let's go see through this and see what else it gives vibes of. So a lot of the speech patterns seem backwards. There's probably some connection with that. So if you don't know, you can probably hear a lot of the voice patterns of this robot, and I've been noticing a lot of them seem like they're speaking backwards. I don't know how to exactly record footage and play it back because I don't have access to that kind of technology currently, or any type of software that does that. There probably is a widely distributed way to play back audio in reverse, but I don't have that. All I have on my PC is Audacity, and I don't think that does it, unless it does. I'm not too sure. But yeah, those are definitely backwards voice lines. You could hear it because of how the breathing doesn't seem to be normal, and it seems that it's been talking specifically backwards. I will say this: the design of this thing reminds me a lot of the design of Five Nights at Freddy's original animatronics, where they have a bottom hinged jaw that is flat and it can open up and close really quickly. Compared how the newer animatronics look like they have their face connected to the rest of their body, well, most of their face. But let's move on from this one, because obviously this is just simple horror, but we have to see the rest of this. Interesting. Well, nothing was learned from that. So obviously they have the tags for this. Not really much information in the description. The video is called The First Day Found. The series is called Pontiac Robotics Archive. The channel ran into this stuff. So what I'm getting from this, and I'm going to mute the audio while we look through this, is specifically the design of this robot reminds me a lot of the Five Nights at Freddy's category and the I Feel Fantastic category. Which, if you don't know, they're both animatronics, both electrical robots based around how the motions of their body trickle on small little diodes they do tap with little metal rods and make them move in certain patterns, and sometimes pre-record those patterns to play at a certain day's notice. It's why in Chuck E. Cheese or most of the places with animatronic characters have set programs to execute when they have to dance for a middle of an audience. This was made before programming was an official language to be used for computers. So this was a technology before programming was widely used. And it seems like this takes place during that time in an earlier stage while programming is not used. Because if not, if this was programmed, it would explain a lot of the lights that are in its head. What are those lights for? And as you could probably hear, we heard women screaming in this. What exactly is in this thing? I'm not too sure. Whatever's inside this like robot is what would be inside this? Like the whole thing of like a human soul is in this robot, but like would that be a good enough explanation for all of this? I don't think so. There might be more to this that we don't know. And my inclination is that this is actually someone's what do you call it, a death rattle? Yeah, this is someone's death rattle while their like soul is being possessed by like the thing. It reminds me a lot of like Five Nights at Freddy's like initial design, but that's my guessing right now of like what this is, and I'm thinking it is like a vestige for like someone's soul to take over because they were originally killed. That's why the model is like in their form essentially. That's what I think. Let's continue to the second tape though.
Hey, Meg. It's time for your operation. Open wide. Oh dear. Have you been brushing twice a day? Oh, what is this? Meg, you have some gum in your teeth. All right, time to clean up. Nice job, Meg. Open wide, Meg. Nice, nice. Time to... Oops, sorry. Hope that didn't hurt too much.
Its name is Meg. Apparently, it can feel pain, and this person is not using their real voice. They're instead using a system of Microsoft SAM. Strange. Very, very strange. I don't understand why they're using this program specifically to speak in this kind of way. But whatever it is, it's not normal. And it associates that this thing cares for it so much that it's trying to make sure it looks as pretty as possible. This is someone's death. Someone died for this robot. And someone's possessing this robot. It has to be that case. Because, like, why else would he be so overprotective over this damn thing? I mean, that's just me starting off the analysis. I don't know exactly what is on his head or what is he planning for this robot or whatever this robot might be. But I'm thinking it's a catalyst. A catalyst of some kind where he's keeping the soul trapped within this thing. If this thing started screaming the minute it started like poking it with like the screwdriver, I would have thought like the pain it felt was like extremely severe, and this is like the first time it's been tortured this badly. But judging by how it knows, I'm assuming that it knows it can feel pain, and how it like is constantly experimenting its needle with it. It makes me initially think that like what it's doing is testing if like its torture methods are working. That or something else is like being on his head, being like, I gotta make sure you're pretty if you're gonna continue being my wife. Which would be a creepy position, but like, would make sense.
Oh, does not look like you
For this
have been
character.
brushing enough. Oh dear. Let me get my other tool.
What is that other tool? Something with its teeth, apparently. Okay, we'll go through this play with a big delay on that one. Just had to do some stuff, fix a few things. We're continuing on from here. But as you can see, this is the third tape. We're going to be listening to this one, seeing what it has in store for us. Yeah. The audio in this seems like it's always playing backwards, and no matter how the audio is presented, no matter how much like it's shown off, a lot of this audio is always played backwards, and I don't know exactly why it's always played backwards, but That seems to be a common trend between all these videos. If I had like the technology like just on the ready hand, I could probably take a lot of this audio and just like play it backwards and have you guys listen to it and give my own thoughts on that. But I don't have access to it. Let me check the comments here. Discover the series. I have Clockwork Vibes. Allowed to pee. Some edits look Italian, Arabic. Anyone can translate. Wait, it's just subtitles. Okay. I don't have any subtitles myself. I will say this series is very loud. Do you think the distortion in audio and a lot of the audio like manipulation and most of this is like specifically just a woman screaming for dear life because all she can like use for audio and all of her like talkings is her screaming out for like help, but the electricity itself just like being all she can control within her own body to create noise? Because if you don't know, there are ways that electricity can make noise, and it specifically is tethered towards like two electrical points that create like buzzing noise. So let me see if I can like get a thing about this. Tesla coil music. This is what I mean. Like Tesla coils can actually make noises, but as you can see, a lot of it takes like a lot of training and a lot of good programming to be able to like use Tesla coils as actual musical instruments. But the thing is, I want to say like it's possible. Then it's why I'm like saying it forward. She's not talking normally because she doesn't have vocal cords. But if she could, she would be using Tesla coil type of technology to specifically throw out like a small electrical currents between her eyes. That's ridiculous. But it would make sense because you see the glowing behind her head, how that's constantly doing it. But like in the back of her mouth, there probably is like some sort of electrical circuit that she could jump through from one eye to the other eye, causing them to both spin erratically, but still be able to like conduct voice speech in some way, right? I would expect that would be the case in some capacity to like be able to have some sort of speech, not direct speech, not like completely controllative speech, but some type of speech that is able to be understood by someone that can have a tentative ear in order to hear electrical sounds and decipher them into like words. But if that's the case, she possessed over like a body that she doesn't have much control over. It doesn't make much sense why she's able to do this, but how is it that she became possessed over the like this robot? I guess we'll have to like figure that out once we like look more at the series and like figure out what exactly is behind all of this robot stuff and why all of it is like connected in some way to her. Either that or there's more things that we don't understand here. A little bit of a pause. Sorry about that. We'll continue from here. Yeah. No, I think I'm right. Yeah, I think I'm very right about this. She's screaming through the robot. Like, there's no way she's not screaming through the robot. There has to be some reason why she's screaming through the robot. Because, like, you saw the electrical current behind her eyes. Like, either that was an electrical current or those were, like, lights that the person that created this robot specifically installed there to show pain. I am not very sure about both of these things, but, like, I'm assuming it has to be in some way. We'll see more, though. We'll see more and we'll see where this all connects into. Let's keep going.
Happy birthday, Meg.
What's with all that noise? Does she have access to like files of like sound effects? And it was repeating footage too. Jesus Christ, this runs deeper than what I initially thought. She might be like computerized. Like she might be an actual computer entity. And she might be connected to like a program. That means she could be downloaded. Ugh. That spells a lot of problems.
Time to light the candles.
I thought it was a robotic arm.
You look hungry.
What was that? Hold on. Let's scroll back a little bit. What was that?
You look hungry.
Okay. Something was there. What was that? Is it a new robot? Or was that her original face? This is probably another one of his experiments. I'm gonna mark this person as like Pontiac. I'm gonna mark this person that we see here as like Pontiac. Not this face, but specifically the person that you hear in the background. I'm gonna say their name is Pontiac. Because I want to give them a label just so we know who we're dealing with here. And it seems like Pontiac has more robots than just this one. That thing keeps talking, or like keep moving its mouth. Is it doing that by itself? It might be. This footage is so corrupted, though. Is there something behind it?
How old are you?
I mean, like, the footage looks like he forced her down to burn herself. Is it? Like, I would also give it, like, the volition that maybe the robot wanted to kill itself before, like, it continued living, because what it's doing right now is suffering. But could that be the case? I'm not too sure. Because, like, why would a creature like this want to live? Why would it, like, go out of its way to kill itself? I mean, if it had, like, any type of autonomy, it would, like, want to do that. What specifically would it gain from doing something like this? It called it May. We do remember that. That was from the first episode. It's called May. Gotta remember that. So if we hear anything about the information with May, that is something we have to, like, think about. Specifically, how May connects to all of this.
Meg, you misbehaved. You broke my window. It's time for your punishment. See no evil, Meg. Speak no evil, Meg. Pain is the only thing that will teach you. That should teach you big. Now I will put you in time out through the street.
Okay, I have not been talking for a quick minute, but like, I'm just gonna be frank and say all of this. I don't think that was like that well of editing on that one. Because if you want to portray that like you're hurting someone like very hard, you would have to make sure that there's like some resistance when you're moving like her leg like that. And there's like a snap to like how your motions just like jerk because it finally gave way. I do understand like the reason for it, but like maybe because the robot didn't react. Is it even a catalyst? Or is it inactive because it doesn't have any electricity feeding into it? Do you think because there's no electricity feeding into it, it doesn't have any reaction or any ability to like act on its own? I think so. I think so because electricity is not pouring to it. It can't react or have any emotions at the time. Even if it did close its face and like its mouth, it would still be able to sense everything. But it can't move or scream for God's sakes because it doesn't have any electricity flowing into it. So it can't essentially be alive or whatever you would describe being alive as like barely being able to move and act that one certain way. It's very odd, but I will say a little bit of that one is like can we portray it a little bit better. I mean that's just my personal point. I don't think anyone should probably strive to like do what I want them to do, but just in general like it would probably add to a lot of the emotion on that one.
Get mad at you.
What is this? I'm not sure what I'm looking at. I'm not sure what I'm looking at. Like, is it a car? Okay, whatever that was. He stripped it of its head. Okay. Oh, stop moving. What is this thing? It's so odd with like there's so many mysteries here that are being like withheld and I don't know exactly what mysteries are to be told. Did it just grow a flower? No, I think that's just in the shot. Is it just like an image of her just like sitting in like the middle of an area? Get a little closer up, I guess. Her vase is still burnt, isn't it? From like the accident she was a part of? Yeah. Okay. Can it move on its own? I highly doubt it can. The artist would have been using like stop motion animation to specifically list that, right? More backwards audio. I really wish I had a way to like listen to this audio because there's probably important parts of the story that we're not hearing because of the backwards audio. Let me see if anyone in the comments have like already described it. The robot is dead. What happened? I mean, that is a good question. I don't know what like the backwards audio means. It's not even any description to specifically list that. Oh, so hello there, Dr. Nefarious. Oh. Like, it doesn't have motion. It needs to be helped when it has to move. Oh. I might be wrong. I might be wrong. Did, did it forcibly break its own head? Okay, what do we know so far? We know so far that this was a news person that was on the news. This was, like, modeled after her. So specifically, she was the inspiration for this robot. And this robot itself seems to have a connection with her because of how she looks. The only thing we don't understand is, like, if it's alive or if it feels anything or any type of pain. That's something we're still looking into or specifically getting information of. So, in this instance, do you think it's trying to kill itself over and over and over again? I think so. After the amount of times it's tried to like light itself on fire, bash its head open, or like come closer to death, no matter how much like it seems to be closer. Reminder, there's only been twice that it tried to kill itself, and so far there seems to be a pattern. If it does it one more time, because like once is an accident, two is a, I forget how the saying goes. It's like one is an accident, two it'll never happen again, and three is a pattern. So if it does it again, then it will be a pattern of it trying to kill itself. And it lost its hair too.
Stop misbehaving, Meg.
Oh my god. What the hell? He, he just broke its skull open. Did it die? Oh my god. Okay, this is the weird part of all like robotics that we don't know specifically of. If you remove the head of a robot, it doesn't mean that it's dead. Depends on like where the main core of its memory is from. Because no matter what type of technology you carry, as long as the technology is able to recall its memory, it will always still be alive in some way. So what you have to destroy is probably the storage disk, because that'll kill the self, and it'll kill specifically what it's supposed to be. So in other words, in order to fully kill a robot, you're supposed to kill everything of it. Because I'm thinking what he just did, it was inflicted like massive amounts of pain. I don't think it killed it. Let's continue watching. My what the fuck? Don't tell me he just found another victim. Because they don't show news ladies. He killed Meg. And then he replaced Meg with another victim that he saw on the news that specifically reported a house fire. I thought that was going to be the conclusion of like where this house went. When you are done with that, I really have something silly to share. Okay, okay. I thank you for that. I'm mostly doing this to record for like a video series on YouTube. But yeah, thank you for that. If you do have an input on this, please give your ideas on this. But with this, I specifically think that there's connections with this, with specifically just how it's just taking the victims. And it seems like the person that's in charge of all of this, the person that like is leading to the abduction of these women's either souls or beings in some way, and putting them into robots or putting them into masks in some capacity, was on this channel. I'm not into ARGs. This is a analog horror. An ARG means that's an after reality game based around clicking links to certain areas. This is more like a contained video series that you watch through and give your own like analysis on, I think. But yeah, it seems that he's just taking more victims. At least that's what it seems like. And the robots itself can feel pain. We know that. Still not my degree. Not good at these. It's okay. Don't worry about it. There's nothing to be worried about. Like I'm just giving my analysis on this. But again, it seems that his target is specifically just news ladies on the news, because he seems to be in connected with current political positions, or not current political positions, current climates within his own city. He also seems to be magical in some capacity, because it seems that no matter how much footage there is of him, he seems to cause it to distort uncontrollably. It could probably be like, artistic integrity and choice, but maybe there's more to it. I mean, how else are you gonna put people's like beings into masks? I mean, that's my theory right now. That he sees these people that he wants to see as his victims, and he puts them into masks so he can connect them to his robot. So Pontiac might be magical in some capacity, kind of like an SCP character, but that can like turn people's like very souls into masks that he can connect to his own robots, which would be very creepy. Which would be very creepy. There's Meg. Is footage playing backwards?
Sliver, banana, go I, roots, and Tyler, Robert, Sliver, banana, go I.
It's smoking. It broke the cybernetics. Or the machine parts. Did it say slaver, by the way? Another? Already? He spent so much time with Meg, but he already gave up on this one?
This is your fault, Sylvester.
This is my what?
This is your fault, Sylvester.
This is your fourth Sylvester. So this hasn't been 2 victims, this has been 4 victims. Is it Sylvester? Is it? I can't really understand it very too well. 4th Sylvester, okay. So this person's name is Sylvester.
You won't be happy. You won't be happy. You won't be happy.
So what exactly won't be happy? There's so many things to analyze with this series, but I'm not sure what like sticks on because there's so many questions. Like, is it real? Is it a real person? Do like, oh, by the way, don't worry about that. That's an iPod. It's like, is it a real person? Do they have connections to their own body? Can they even speak? Can we hear their screams? I heard something that sounded like screams, but it might not be that. Like, are those different types of faces, different types of people that it's connecting to into robot? What does the robot have to do with most of this? Like, how's the body itself like a catalyst for most of these like actions? And we see that the robot's like made out of wood, and a lot of the circuits are fried now. What what is it doing? What can it do? Oh my god, what is that? Is that Latin? Oh, it might be upside down actually. Audishur neg negem. Wait, Megan. Resuscitation. Resuscitate. Megan resuscitated. So what he is he is making them come back to life. He's killing these people and then making them come back to life as like lifeless robots. I can't read the rest of this. It's like a really bad chicken scratch, but like I can read the first one really well. So I'm guessing this is the footage of like the person trying to catch this guy in a crime, but then just uses this against the person. He rebuilt her face?
Merry Christmas, Meg. I got you some new teeth. Yes, yes, or
Okay. No, I got it. I got what this is. No. Okay. So if you don't know what you just saw, that thing is not a representation of one woman. It's not a representation of two women, not even four. It's a representation of every woman he's murdered. And every single murder he commits into it, he steals something from that person and uses it to decorate that doll. So I don't know, because we saw one of his recent victims get like killed because we saw like footage of him at their window. And once I'm guessing his name is Sylvester. Once Sylvester found out that they saw him, he killed them and stole her teeth. He killed her and stole her teeth. For the one on the newswoman, I think they stole her hair and put it on the robot. And the other one, I guess they stole her makeup. So this makes 5 victims that we know about. Well, that we can confirm with the story of this series. He has 5 victims he's already like taken, and most of them he's just taking the lives of. If there are more victims in this entire case, that would be very interesting to like see how this all develops. But currently, what I'm thinking is this is just like an out of control psychopath with like some type of manipulative powers over like recording cameras or like slight abilities to teleport. And that thing that he has with him is sentient too, because it's not dead. If it was, it wouldn't stop moving so often, trying to kill itself, trying to like remove itself from like existing. And it wouldn't constantly keep trying to punish it over and over and over because it doesn't want to be alive. It's a being that wants to not exist whatsoever. And no matter how much it struggles, Sylvester, whoever this is, just doesn't let it do that. It's going to forever live, and he's just going to force it to live because he wants it to be a trophy to all the killings he's done, which is horrifying, but would explain why it seems that we don't get any answers. Because the answer it is just he's a psychopath. That's it. Man, this is fucked up. I wonder what the series will go into, but like it hasn't ended, obviously. There probably is more in the future. But for the time being, that's all I can share because that's all the series we have available at the moment. The last video was 3 weeks ago. But we'll see what else happens with this series. I'm hoping there's a lot less of like this gross like loud noises because a lot of that like made me super confused and hurt my brain a bit. But I want to hear your opinions on this. Share your opinions on like what you think about this weird creepy robot thing. And tell me more about like how you like personally think how this is how the story will go or how this is how the story will form. For me, I just don't know what like how these robotics just have connections to human life or how it just has the ability to control some parts of like this creepy human life stuff. It's odd. We'll see more when it comes through though. We'll see more when it comes through. I'll see you all next time.